Okay, setting a proper motivation, which consists of 3 parts: refuge field, what to visualize and how to visualize. What is visualize? The Bodhicitta, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Avalokiteshvara, Are Manjushri, Are Maitreya, Are Vajrapani, Are Thara, Are Nagarjuna, Are Deva, Buddha Padita, Bodhisattva Chandrakirti, Bodhisattva Shanideva, Bodhisattva Chandra Rakshita, Acharya Kamal Shil, Bodhisattva Lama Silingpa, Bodhisattva Adishiti Bhangare Shri Jnana, and all the enlightened beings in front of you. And how you visualize them. They are like your mothers, very affectionate parents, and you are the child coming home demoralized from the school, being bullied by the other children, and your parents are waiting there to give you full love, affection, attention, so forth. No matter what happens to you, parents are just to give full love towards you, to embrace you, to defend you. Next, Bodhicitta field. Again, what to visualize and how to visualize. What to visualize? Your 2 grandparents on the 2 sides, all the family members around you, and all dear mothers and sentient beings. Here in this place where we're having the venue for the retreat, all the people, the staff working here, everyone in Jambi, everyone, the human beings, the animals, the insects, the spirits, the Deva-Devis, everyone in Jambi, in Indonesia, in Singapore, in your own countries, in the entire world, and in all places, in all the world systems, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. And how you visualize them. Here you are the mother, and all others are like children. You with unconditional love, you're embracing all of them unconditionally, no matter what. How mischievous, how bad, how cunning, how rude, how harsh the sentient beings are. They are like your children. They don't know. Out of ignorance they are behaving like this. And the purpose of this practice is finally to awaken the seed of Buddhahood within us, the ultimate source of happiness within us. Knowing that while this treasure is within us, it is temporarily obscured by the mental defilements, like the gold in the gold ore being obscured by the soil. They are mixed. When mixed with soil, the gold becomes invisible. So it is through separating the soil from the gold that the gold becomes the visible and glowing. Likewise, the Buddha nature within us, the ultimate source of happiness. Only when the mental defilements are cleansed, then it will become manifest in its true form. So how to clean the mental defilements? Knowing that mental defilements is of 2 kinds, the gross and the subtle. The gross referring to the afflictive obscurations, which constitute contaminated karmas, afflictions, and the active seeds. So which all boil down, which all are caused, finally rooted down to self-grasping ignorance. It is only by cleansing the self-grasping ignorance, by introducing the light of the wisdom of emptiness, that the self-grasping ignorance can be eliminated, and that we will be freed from samsara altogether. Then we don't have to worry about sickness, aging, death, tension, stress, anxiety, lamentation, and so forth. Likewise, on the other hand, we have the cognitive obscurations, which is nothing but the subtle stains or the inactive seeds, or more precisely, subtle stains of the afflictive obscurations. And these stains can be eradicated by the same wisdom, the wisdom of emptiness, but the driving force should be much more powerful than renunciation. So it should be renunciation plus the bodhicitta added to it. So then this wisdom becomes so rigorous to overcome, powerful enough to overcome the cognitive obscuration. So through the elimination of cognitive obscurations, we achieve the state of full awakening, and the treasure of the happiness, the treasure of the Buddhahood within us becomes manifest fully. So this is what for we are doing this practice and the retreat. With that in mind, imagine that all sentient beings are joining you, everyone in the living none aside, everyone joining you. And you are leading this so courageously, so thoughtfully, and so wisely, leading all your dear mother sentient beings towards a very meaningful destination, which is Buddhahood. And everyone knowing this, they are so happily joining you, and you are leading. Then with this mind, let's turn to page 2. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the Buddhas and of the hearers and Bodhisattvas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seeking pacification, complete peace, who through the knowledge of past courses, those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of omniscience, the subduer set forth the varieties having all aspects, the one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector, to you I make prostrations, the one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth a forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Okay, page 7. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Okay, particularly when we say I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, very quickly we should think of the Buddha as the guide, the ultimate guide, and flawless guide, and Dharma in the form of the wisdom of emptiness. Dharma in a very quick reflection. Dharma in the form of the wisdom of emptiness. Say, when you have the wisdom of emptiness, then all the how we subjected the flower to emptiness, the flower disappears. Likewise, all our miseries will disappear. So this is what we are seeking. The misery is coming to an end. This is what we are seeking, Dharma. And then so that is the main thing. So with this, only when the miseries dissolve, and only when the objectification dissolves, then your mind becomes so free. It can freely move towards all sentient beings. So that is about the eliminating cognitive obscuration. So when we speak about the miseries dissolving, it's about the liberation from samsara. And then, because the objectification dissolves, then your mind can freely flow. There's nothing which obstructs you. Then the mind freely flows towards every atom of the universe. That is eliminating the cognitive obscuration. Cognitive obscuration means that your mind gets stuck with something. When you cognize one thing, you cannot cognize others. So these are the obstruction for you to cognize all phenomena. Cognize means to know. So when your mind becomes free, there's nothing which makes you, which blocks you. So it flows freely to all atoms of the universe, all sentient beings in the universe. So that is when the cognitive obscuration is cleared away. So finally, when you say I go for refuge to dharma, it should be thought of in terms of the wisdom of emptiness. Just once in a while, just quickly try to think of the wisdom of emptiness. What it is like if I'm able to see the justice of law dissolves, even this self, even this self also dissolves, and all the miseries dissolve. All what I see, all what I experience, they're all like illusion, like the child's play, like illusion. Okay, then Sangha, when it's saying I go for refuge in Sangha, just imagine that all the beings who are realizing emptiness, through which they're cleansing their mental defilements, going towards enlightenment. So imagine that you are surrounded by these people. And on that basis, from your side, you think, okay, may I always meet with these enlightened, these beings who are in journey of this gati, paragati, parasamgati, bodhisattva, onto this journey. Only when you see these people around you, then you'll be inspired. When you feel inspired, then your effort to activate this Buddha nature, to awaken this wisdom of emptiness, will become even more rigorous. Okay, this is how we do. Let's read this once more. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. So when we read these things, see how much you can make it so alive in our mind. It can be read in two ways. When you can feel it, may I become, so there's a little moving feeling coming inside. And whereas, okay, tremendous devotion is there, but you read it, it becomes like simply words flowing without the feelings involved. So then it can become a habit. So whereas the other side you can also make it a habit. But wholeheartedly say, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Just let yourself feel it. Let yourself feel it. When that becomes a habit, then the bodhicitta will become very active within you within a very short span of time. Otherwise, it'll take so long. Okay. Sanje joda zoge jonam la janjo bardo dane yasu che dage jinso yebe sonam dola benjir sanje dubare jo sanje joda zoge jonam la janjo bardo dane yasu che dage jinso yebe sonam ge dola benjir sanje dubare jo sanje joda zoge jonam la janjo bardo dane yasu che dage jinso yebe all phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well as taught by the great seer. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantathagado hyavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum te shantathagato hyavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum deshan tathagato hyavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya swaha. Okay, page 10. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, full awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the complete and full awakened one, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced our 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust-free like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone with dustness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies, I prostrate. To those who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue mind thoroughly, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness and death. Okay, Heart Sutra, page 15. Remember the 3 points not to miss. 1. What question was asked by Shariputra? Number 2. What response was given by Bodhisattva Aravarutishvara? And number 3. What is the benefit in case if we practice the way as indicated by Aravarutishvara? So the question asked is, how should the being, how should a child of the lineage, meaning all of us, in fact, all of us, we have unless somebody has the inclination towards bodhicitta, the person will not at all come to the bodhicitta retreat, that is for sure. So we need to invigorate, we need to enhance our practice of the bodhicitta. Then we are actually going in this line of being the child of the lineage. We are so fortunate, even to be referred to as a child of a lineage is so fortunate one. Then for a child of a lineage, going the line of bodhisattvas, how should one practice the perfection of wisdom? Then Aravalokiteshvara went into detail, explain how the wisdom of emptiness should be practiced by seeing the emptiness of the self, emptiness of the 5 aggregates, emptiness of the four noble truths, emptiness of the 12 wings of dependent origination, and finally emptiness of the 18 elements, 6 objects, 6 subjects, and the 6 mediums. 6 into 3 is 18. Okay, and then the point number 3, the benefit is that by seeing the emptiness, yes, it is just as the flower disappears, we subject miseries into this experience, and the miseries disappears. And you may be wondering, what if we expose the happiness also? Happiness also disappears. So when the happiness disappears, what happens? We experience transcendental happiness. We transcend the happiness, and we experience the transcendental happiness, which is known as uncontaminated happiness. So the happiness which we consider as happiness, this is all contaminated. It's something to do with the self-grasping ignorance. So we transcend that by seeing the emptiness. We experience uncontaminated happiness. Okay, so this is very important, not to miss the 3 points. And this is a gateway through which all the enlightened beings of the past, present, future, they traverse towards ultimate happiness to awaken this Buddha nature. Okay. And you are leading this, and all beings are joining you, your two grandparents and everyone. I prostrate to the irretrievable gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Bhagavan was dwelling on Mass of Valsa's mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld these 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara, how activity of the profound perfection of wisdom. He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composition factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without a characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composition factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element, and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and part. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, the Bodhisattvas rely on obscuration, thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassed perfect complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of the great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that totally pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Tyatha Om Gade Gade Para Gade Parasam Gade Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravarukiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you've indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharitvatiputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravarukiteshvara, those surrounding the entirety along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. Okay, as we recite this, Buddha Shakyamuni is so compassionately guiding us towards enlightenment, and your two parents and all Tiamal Sanchambhasa are with you, and they are happily joining you in this journey of the mental journey of cleansing the mental defilements and eventually awakening the ultimate source of happiness, the Buddha nature within us, and thus becoming fully enlightened being like a sun which cannot be obscured by any cloud at all. Okay. Tiyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha Tiyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha Tiyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha Tiyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha Tiyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha Tiyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha Tiyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhiswaha. Page 18. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing the power of the truth, may in and out the hindrance be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be become, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, may auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, 8 verse mind training. This is particularly to counteract our anger, our self, the referential ego, and to boost our self-confidence. Thereby make a distinction between the self-referential ego and self-confidence. So never to have a sense of self-hate. And should you see that there's anyone, you see your friends around who are going through very difficult times, and to the extent of feeling so much of self-hate, you must somehow encourage them to distinguish between two things: self-referential ego and self-confidence. By no means this self is bad. What is really bad is this self-referential ego. You can just eradicate this, and then this self, it comes out with so much of confidence, with so much goodness. Okay, this is so important. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as a lovely someone soul, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a true treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have held or in whom I have placed great hopes, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast space that I have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Okay, the 7th puja for accumulating merit and to cleanse our negativities as a preparation to undertake the journey towards enlightenment. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri, you lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present future, in the worlds of the 10 directions. To all of you with the body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all of you Buddhas visualize as real, I bow down. On every atom of Buddhas numbered as atoms, each amidst a host of Bodhisattvas, and I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With the infinite oceans of praise for you, and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you gone to bliss. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer it to you, victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped with highest Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings and spectacular array, I offer it to you, victorious ones. With transcendental offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, offer and bow down to all the victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done with my body, speech, and mind, overrun by attachment, anger, and confusion, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions. Of solid realizers, here are still training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who have attained a Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening. All you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you please stay with us for aeons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness, well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have created by paying homage, offering and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. With your model offering. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon, I imagine this is a Buddha filled and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Sajibhe Joje Mendo Tang May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming frustrated with ignorance that grasps at true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Rana Mandala Nirati Amen. Foundation of all good qualities, the main practice. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and the perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so of all mother migratory beings, please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing the migratory beings. Even if I've developed bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vow with great energy. Once I pacify distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding in space inside. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the Supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the accomplished is keeping the pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages of the paths, may I quickly attain the stage of Vajradhara. Okay. First we'll do the generating the consummate yoga of the awakening. For this, the renunciation, bodhicitta, Vishma emptiness, shamatha. Then number 5th is the tantra, and as a part of this shamatha practice, preliminary physical exercise. We'll do this. A preliminary physical exercise. Okay. Okay, this is simply to keep your body flexible, and the body and the mind, these two are very closely connected. When the body becomes fresh, and then the mind, the energy that flows in the body flows very smoothly. And as the energy flows smoothly, then the mind becomes alert, fresh. Okay, so what we do is sit upright. And so say initially we'll do like this. Say just stretch your arms and put the 2 thumbs inside, 2 thumbs inside, and then fold the thumbs with other fingers and put up upside down. Put the 2 hands on your knees, straight, not like this, just straight. Good, straight. And first you look at me. You then pull straight like this. Okay, you just look at me, and then we'll do together. Pull like this. Just the 2 fists touching your knees, and then your thighs, then your ribs like this. When the 2 almost come near the armpit, then you release it like this, straight in front. And from there you turn towards the left like this, and the right fist should come under the armpit, the left armpit. Okay, make sure that there's a little space. Okay. Those here can come a little this side. Those here can come a little this side. This row can come a little this side. Okay, this row can come a little this side, and this row, okay, this row is fine. Maybe sulking can go a little that side. Okay, when I can go a little this side. No, we need space. Huh?
If you alternate, then we need each other.
No, the 2 of them. Okay. So make sure that you move the right thing. If you don't, then it will surely hit. That's wise. Okay, ready? Okay, first you just watch me, I'm doing, and then we'll do together. Straight, then you pull through your knees, thighs, ribs, then you release like this, and then you throw the 2 hands towards your left side, and the right fist should go under the left armpit. Then release the forefinger of the left hand, and with the hind side of the forefinger you block the right nostril. And breathe. Then really put your hand on the knee and then the breathe out 3 times. Okay, we'll do. Ready? Release the finger. Release the forefinger. Only the forefinger. Only the first finger. Then with hindsight, block the right nostril. Breathe in. As you breathe in, see if you can. As you breathe in, see if you can protrude your belly out, bulge your belly out, so that the lungs will be fully utilized. Okay. Okay, once more to the other side. Release the forefinger. Block your left nostril. Okay. And put both on your knees. Then breathe from both the nostrils. Okay, good. And if somebody is to sit for retreats, for meditations, for a long time, like say 3-4 hours a day, 4-5 hours a day, and say 2 hours in the full stretch, if you are to sit for such a meditation retreat, then at times you may feel the backache. So there, or dissension, backache can happen. So there are specific exercises also to release the backache, right? So, for example, like, okay, say I'm holding your knees like this. So this is to those of you who have some backache, you can also use this, and particularly for those who do the meditation for a long time and sitting upright for a long time like this. So then you can feel the pain on the spinal cord. So to release the pain, what we do is we put the 2 hands on your knees. Okay, then try to straighten it up, and then the left one first. The left one, bend your hand, bend your ankle a little bit, and the shoulder, try to move towards the left knee as much as possible, and the younger ones can really literally touch it, the younger ones, but the elders may not be touched. Don't worry, right? The idea is you straighten your back like this. 1, 2, 3, right? Okay. Then the other side. Basically the idea is that whichever shoulder you like to touch, they go towards the knee. Like the hand must be straight so that it really stretches. 1, 2, 3. Then likewise 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this will stretch your back and the spinal cord, and when you do meditation, again you feel the freshness there, the pain in most cases disappears. Okay. And then the other things also, for example, say to straighten body like this, say the first maybe the right, like this one, just rotate the socket, like this 1, 2, while you keep your main body straight. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then both 1, 2, 3, and then inside 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this will help us to keep our body, say when a little bit tired or a little tense, and these exercises will help us to remove the problem. Okay, now shall we do the 3 sets together without any instruction? Okay, ready? Now you don't have to again stretch like this. You already know this. You start from the knees directly. Okay, but the thing is that arms should be straight. And when you throw, don't throw it too strongly. If you throw too forcefully, in 2-3 days time you'll feel the pain here, right? Throw it gently. Okay, begin. Okay, next 5 minutes breathing meditation. Okay, ready? Okay, keep in mind the 4 points. Body posture, most important is body upright. If you can sit cross-legged, that's best. And then eyes should not be closed, eyes half open, 45 degrees cast down, and the tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation saliva. And the body upright is very important, and eyes not closed. These are the 2 key points to not miss. And focal point, visualize as a tiny dot, white dot, 1 mm, 2 mm in diameter between nose and upper lip. And then multitasking, counting breath in, breath out. Okay, 2 things happening together. Of course, this is going to be challenging. This is how we have to practice. Then the number 3 is identifying the errors of meditation. 2 errors: mental scattering or mental excitement and mental laxity. And applying the remedies, 2 remedies: introspection and mindfulness. Okay. Okay, next renunciation. Renunciation is to renounce our miseries. To renounce the miseries, we need to know how to renounce the causes of the miseries. For the fact that as long as the causes are there, the miseries will never come to an end. Om ye dharma hedu prabhava hedum deshan tadagato hyavatat. All phenomena arise from the causes, and what the causes are is indicated by the Tathagata. So here, the identifying the causes and then the resorting to their respective remedies. The Buddha taught the four seals of the teachings. So meditate on the four seals and try to cultivate this the genuine renunciation. Okay. Try as much to, maybe today and tomorrow for 2 days we will do the guided meditation, and then later on, then after the tomorrow, then from day after we will do it on our own, simply through the headings given. Try as much to invoke the respective experiences by following the instructions. All composite things are impermanent. Impermanence, which is of two kinds, the gross and subtle. The gross one is a phenomena whose continuation comes to an end. That is gross impermanence. Failing to see this gross impermanence, we have been trapped in the illusion of seeing things as so permanent, and not at all preparing for this coming to an end of the continuum of our being, coming to an end of the continuum of the objects with which we interact, thinking that they are all permanent. And the fact is, all composite things are impermanent, particularly most of the things with which we interact, and particularly things which we excite us. The composite things, they are all qualify as gross impermanent phenomena. The people that we know, the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, many of them are already gone. And a young child with such a tender, fresh mind, fresh body and so forth, eventually become old with sickness, aging and death. And this is a fact. We cannot hide this reality. And the beautiful sunset, however beautiful that is, it's just a matter of a few minutes. It disappears altogether. And the beautiful spring is followed by autumn and winter, where the winter can be very harsh in some places, so terribly cold, and all the beautiful spring disappears. And 150 years ago, on the same planet Earth, there must be like 6 billion or 5 billion today, like 7 billion human beings. Say 6 billion human beings on this earth 150 years ago. Now not even a single person is left today. 150 years ago there were people like what we are doing now, or there were people like us, some of them very powerful, politically very powerful, some of them very influential, some of them very rich, some of them very popular, and some of them poor, some of them very educated and so forth. And then people are fighting amongst each other over the property, over the land, over their name and so forth, fighting then jealousy and so forth. And these, not really out of these people, how many of them really thought about 150 years later, what is today, 150 years later, that everyone is going to go. And for example, in particularly those days, the parents and the children relationship, where the parents think about the children from their childhood till they end. This is how the parents, they feel the sense of responsibility. In those days, they have so many plans for the children. They are so possessive of their children, so protective of their children. So my child will do like this, eventually she will do like this, he will do like this, and then we'll get this job, that job, and so forth. So much of plans. Whether these plans are accomplished, not accomplished, along with the plans, all these people are gone. Not even a single person is left today. That is 100% sure. Now, today, there are 7 billion human beings on this earth. And some very rich, some poor, some very educated, some less educated, some politically very influential, some are less, some are powerful, some are weak, and so forth. And some just lead their life on the basis of the youth, the actors, actresses, singers, and so forth. And how many of them really think about this impermanence? How many of them really think about what is going to happen after 150 years from now in the future? 150 years from now in the future, not even a single person today will be left then. All will disappear. Whether plans, whether wishes are accomplished, not accomplished, along with the plans will all disappear. Not even a single person will be left. And this is a fact. This is a fact. So eventually we have to leave everything. 150 years in the future from now, we have to leave everything along, even the most treasured object, our own body. Even this we have to leave. That's 100% for sure. 100% for sure. And yet how many of us are really thinking about it and then planning? So if this is the reality, why not we plan for the future? Why not we plan for the next journey rather than what is today? Of course, we are not to neglect today. At the same time, while not neglecting today, why should we be too obsessed with this life and not forgetting about planning for the future? So this is the gross impermanence. With this gross impermanence, what underscores the termination of the continuum is the momentariness, the subtle impermanence. The subtle impermanence pervades all composite phenomena, not only confined to those with continuum coming to an end. All phenomena. So, our time together for 11 days is nothing but made of 11 individual days, and our time together for one day is nothing but made of 24 individual hours, and each individual hour is made of 60 individual minutes, as each of the minutes are constituted of 60 individual seconds, and each of the second is made of 1000 milliseconds. So this is how our time is moving so fast on the basis of the millisecond. If there is something which we are actually experiencing, it is not at all more than 1 millisecond, and we have the illusion that we're experiencing a long time together. If there is a moment which we're experiencing, it is not more than a millisecond. And a millisecond is so fast, it just instantly disappears. It instantly disappears. Think about the lightning, how bright it is, but how long does it last? It lasts for just a split of a second and it disappears. What an impermanent. This is exactly how we are going in this direction, so fast, so moving so fast towards the future. This is the subtle impermanence. Our body is moving at that pace, and our mind is moving at that pace, and ourselves as the person is moving at that pace. And all phenomena, all composite phenomena that you see around, they also move at that pace, and that is a fact. It's not what our mind is fabricating, this is a fact. How many of us, how many of the people on this earth, let alone the animals. How many people on this earth can see this subtle impermanence? It's so scary to think of. It's so scary to think of. It is the limited. It is the limitations of our eyesight, of our consciousness, that we cannot see this reality. If you think, we can slowly be able to see this subtly, the momentariness of all the composite phenomena. Just see, imagine that you are seeing all the environment around, which are made of millions of atoms, billions of atoms, and these atoms, they're constantly in constant flux of change. And our body is made of millions of atoms, billions of atoms. Again, they are also in constant flux of change. Just remain in that experience. That things are constantly moving. And in time, they move millisecond by millisecond by millisecond, so fast. Just try to abide in this experience. And at times it's so scary. What we feel attached to, the moment we try to go to grab at it, is already gone. It's something different there. And again, the same thing. Oh, it doesn't matter. You try to grab at it, again it disappears. So even the person who is grabbing there, it also disappears. And what is to be grabbed also disappears. This is the fact with impermanence. At times you can go along, you can just sit by the side of the river, sit by the side of the stream, just keep looking at the stream. This is how the ancient masters, they did. Sit by the stream, and you see the stream as a continuum, it's just an illusion. Just try to locate one spot there, one particular spot there, and see which water molecule sits stable there. No, not even a single water molecule sits stable there. It continues to flow. Every moment there's a new molecule coming. Every moment there's a new molecule coming. Old one, just the immediately preceding moment of the molecule is instantly gone there. This impermanence. And this is the reality of a body, of the objects with which we interact, and my own mind, my own self. This is the reality. Try to abide in this experience. From this we come to know that we are as though like in a very fast moving train. The body is moving so fast. Our mind is moving so fast. The whole world is moving so fast. We are like we are thrown into a very fast moving train. Faster the train moves, more the fear that we have. Why fear? Because we don't know where this fast train is taking us. Seeing that we are moving so fast, there's nothing really a moment that we're experiencing actually. The moment we think we experience is gone. Faster the train, the more the fear we have. We don't know where this train is taking us. What decides where the train is taking us? The driver decides where the train is taking us. In our case, this fast moving train like body, the driver is a mind, and unfortunately our mind is driven by under the sway of the two demons, self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude. And these two demons, their job is only to inflict pain on us, only to deceive us, and to keep us ensnared and trapped in samsara. This is their job, so vicious. And these two will never take us to any picnic spot. Will take us to the next destiny. Soon we die, and then these two will take us to sickness, aging, death, in the hands of the terrorists, in the hands of the butchers, and in the hands of the wars, in the hands of the earthquake, the tsunami, and so forth. And this is the reality. So as long as our mind is under the sway of the contamination, the worst of the contaminations of which is self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude, these two will never take us to any happiness. This will take us only to the miseries. It is for this reason that the Buddha taught the second seal: all contaminations are of the nature of suffering and miseries. As long as we are under the sway of the worst of the contaminations, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude, the only experience that we have to go through in the future is the miseries, sickness, aging, death, anxiety, stress, depression, tension, in the hands of the terrorists, in the hands of the butchers, in the getting trapped in tsunami, wildfire, earthquake, typhoon, and so forth. These are the miseries. One moment of the misery is good enough. One moment of the pain of losing very near and dear ones is good enough simply to nullify all the experiences of happiness that we had earlier. All experiences, they're just nothing so hollow when the acute pain of losing near and dear ones, acute pain of death is awaiting us. Is good enough to nullify all the pains. If we are given a choice that you will have 30 years of happiness and the last moment is the execution, and another where there's no miseries, but you'll be freed from execution also, for sure everybody will go for the second. This is how this happiness, they deceive us. They're like the bait. So this is the meaning of all contaminations are of suffering nature. That's very true. The more we think about it, it makes us so bewildered, it makes us so overwhelmed. It is so agonizing, so painful. Yes, is there a way out? Of course there's a way out. What's the way? Knowing that all these miseries, what the miseries arise from, what are the causes from these miseries arise, Omye Dharma Hetu Prabhava, as indicated by the very compassionate teacher. We come to know that all these miseries, they arise from the contaminated actions, contaminated karmas, 3 physical, 4 verbal, and 3 mental. And seek as much as possible to get away from these contaminated actions, contaminated karmas, knowing that these karmas eventually throw us into the acute pain, miseries, agonizing pain. And these karmas in turn, they arise from afflictions, the disturbing emotions, defined as any mental factor, the presence of which disturbs our mind, such as attachment, anger, jealousy, competitiveness, and so forth. All these mental experiences, emotions, they disturb us and they trigger all the contaminated actions, which in turn throw us into the miseries, acute miseries. Okay, see how much we can refrain from these afflictive emotions. And where do they arise from? Yes, they arise from the self-grasping ignorance. Only if you exterminate the self-grasping ignorance, all others will come to end and eventually miseries come to. Otherwise, it's a perpetuating pain. It'll never come to an end. It is for this reason that it is known as samsara, cyclic existence, cyclic pain, cyclic fear. Okay, how to get rid of this self-grasping ignorance? Ignorance, by very definition, is like darkness. In dark, you don't see what is around you. With ignorance, you don't see the reality. It blunts you from having the vision of the reality. Just as the darkness can be eliminated by introducing the light, it is only through introducing the light of the wisdom that this ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, can be eliminated. What is that wisdom? The wisdom is the discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What is the reality? Reality, as indicated by the very compassionate teacher, Bodhicitta, the third seal, everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. What does it mean by everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness? It means that everything is like illusion, everything's like dream. Just as dream is coming from your subject, never from the object. Although in the dream you fail to know this fact, you see the object, you are being deceived by the dream to see the dream. Instead of coming from the subject, it is seen from the object. This is the delusion, this is the illusion. It is for this reason that we suffer so much in the dream of nightmares and so forth. Likewise, everything is the nature of coming from own mind. coming subjectively, nothing exists objectively. They are all like dream. Once we discover that the dream ghost is a dream, why should we be afraid of the dream ghost anymore? The fear dissolves, the nightmare dissolves. Likewise, all fears of samsara, they will all automatically dissolve, spontaneously dissolve, the moment we come to discover that they are all nothing but coming from our subjective mind. How can I know that these are all illusion lie? They don't exist objectively. How can I know this? Yes, today we'll do the meditation on emptiness of the self. Emptiness of yourself. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating in Jambi. Okay, and what your body? My body is in a meditative posture. Good. And how does this person appear to you? So solidly out there, or it's coming just from your mind, nothing from the object, is all coming from my mind? Which of the two ways this person appears to you? Of course, so solidly there, not from my mind. Okay, that is known as self-grasping ignorance. Ignorance which sees this self to be existing as objectively, not as subjectively, but as objectively. This is the ignorance, self-grasping ignorance. How can I know that this is self-grasping ignorance? How can I know that this is wrong? Okay, if this self were to exist objectively from the object, the closer we go to this object, we should be able to see this self. Now, on the contrary, by going closer to this object, if the self disappears, it's a clear indication that what we saw, the self as so object real, was an illusion. Okay, let us see. Okay, let us go closer to this object. By going closer to this object, remember what Arjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? In a like manner, if this person meditating were to exist objectively, why not I see this person meditating as I go closer to this object? Okay, now let us go closer to this object. Closer, closer, closer. First thing that we'll see is that very thin layer of the skin that covers the entire body. Of course, that is not me. You are looking for the self. You are not looking for what is not the self. Those things which are not the self, we simply discard them, we remove them. Remove the skin. Beneath this, you will see the fatty tissues. Of course, I'm not that scary for others to look at me. But these fatty tissues, they're so scary. You just look at it, so repulsive. For sure, that is not me. Remove that. Beneath that, the muscles, the cartilages, and so forth. Of course, these are not me. Remove them. Beneath that, you'll see the heart, the lungs, the kidney, the intestine, the gallbladder, the liver, and so forth. None of these is me. Sure, none of this is me. Heart transplant can happen, but I'm not transplanted. I remain the same. Heart can be transplanted, liver can be transplanted, lungs can be transplanted, kidneys can be transplanted, but I'm not transplanted. I remain the same. So therefore these organs are not also me. Remove them. The bone, the skeleton, even that is even worse. If the skeleton comes to me, my friends around, they come in the form of skeleton, is so scary. But they are not scary at all. But the skeleton, if they were to come, is so scary. For sure, the skeleton is not that person, or it's not that me. Okay, remove that. Remove the skeleton. Now we see that all the solid part that we have, which is the element of earth, is not me. Remove the element of earth now. What is left now? Element of water. The blood which is pumped in and out by the heart with the different parts of the body. That is also not me, because I don't flow in the hearts. That is also not me. Remove that element of water. Remove that. Now the element of fire. The body heat. People can see me. People cannot see my body heat. My body heat does not have a gender. I have a gender. I'm a male. I'm a female. But my body heat does not have a gender. Even the element of fire is also not made to remove that. Now the element of air, likewise the same thing. Element of air does not have a gender. I have a gender. Even this element of air is also not me. And people can see me. People cannot see that the air which I breathe in and out. Even that is also not me. Remove that. What is left now? Elbow space. Our body is essentially made of space, empty space. Our body is made of millions of atoms, and the atoms, the distance between the nucleus and the electrons is so vast as compared to the size of the electrons and the nucleus. Essentially, we are vacuum in nature. But I'm a solid person. I'm not vacuum. Vacuum and the solidity leads to a contradictory. Even the element space is also not me. Remove that. What is left now? Only the mind is left. Only the consciousness is left. Even this consciousness is also not me. This consciousness does not have a gender. I'm a male. I'm a female. And on top of that, others cannot see my consciousness, but they can see me. So therefore, it is also not me, or the consciousness. Remove that. Now what is left? Nothing is left. We have now come closest to the object, and the closer we get to the object, the self as a meditator disappears. Now on that level, what do you see? I just see the 6 elements, the atoms, millions of atoms in the form of what constitute the element of earth and water, fire, air, and so forth. None of these atoms is meditating. None of these atoms is me. None of these atoms is in the form of my body, which is in a meditative posture. Where is this person who is meditating? She disappears. He disappears. Our body in this experience for a while. The fact that she disappears, he disappears, this is not your mental fabrication. This is not your mental exaggeration. This is a fact. We're discovering a piece of fact. Okay, this is the meaning of everything is of the nature, emptiness, selflessness. Just we subject the self to this analysis, and the self disappears. It is empty. We discover that it is empty in that form. It discovers. It disappears. Likewise, we subject the same thing to every other phenomena, they will also likewise disappear. This is the meaning of the third sim. Everything is of the nature, emptiness and selflessness. From the object side, it is empty. Now slowly come out. Imagine that you're coming out with our normal way of looking at things, with this very gross way of looking at things. Again the self comes back meditating. Again you go to this analysis, into this subtle analysis of 6 elements. The person disappears. We see that this person comes, disappears, comes, disappears, comes, disappears. There's a constant change happening. But on the object side there's no change. On the object side there's no change. But in a perception, there's a change happening. For whatever is involved in the change should necessarily be just the mere perception. So the self also is a part of this change. It comes, it disappears. It comes, it disappears. It's a part of this change, which means a part of the perception. And the perception is purely subjective. It's all subjective. It's not the object. It's not from the object. So this person is simply coming by the power of the subjective imputation, not really from the object. From the object is empty. Just about in this experience for a while. Okay, amazing. Now what is the benefit of this? If you realize this, what is the benefit? So here, just as this person dissolves, disappears, we can subject all our miseries to this analysis. All the miseries likewise dissolve. Sorrow dissolves, tension dissolves, the fear dissolves. So dissolving of the sorrows, all sorrows, is the transcendence of sorrow. You transcend sorrow, what happens to the mind? Mind finally finds the rest and the peace. And that peace is so absolute, so refined. This is what everyone is seeking. If you can abide in this experience for good, you can abide in this absolute peace for good. This is the meaning of transcending sorrow, is absolute peace, the 4th seal. Okay? This transcendence of sorrow, this experience of the absolute peace is the real renunciation. You have already renounced the miseries altogether. This is the real experience. This is all coming because the experience of emptiness, which the experience of the emptiness, the wisdom of emptiness, which is a direct remedy to the self-grasping ignorance. It is by cutting the self-grasping ignorance through the exposure to the wisdom of emptiness that you are now experiencing the real renunciation, the absolute peace. Yearning to achieve this absolute peace on the basis of the experience of emptiness, this is the most refined understanding of renunciation. Oftentimes people say, oh, we have to renounce the samsara, we have to renounce happiness, we have to renounce the good things, because these good things, they attract us into samsara. That's true, to a great extent it's true. But the final understanding of the renunciation is this, where you transcend sorrow, where you experience the ultimate happiness, ultimate peace, on the basis of the experience of the emptiness, of the miseries, by counteracting the self-grasping ignorance. This is the most refined understanding of renunciation. Abide in this experience of renunciation for a while. Okay, come out of the meditation. Just relax for about 5 or 6 seconds. Okay, ready? Next Bodhicitta practice. Bodhicitta. Okay. Reinforce the visualization of Buddhist Bodhisattvas in front of you. So affectionate, so loving, so caring, unconditional love. The love and affection the Buddhist and Bodhisattvas have towards us does not require us to be good, does not require us to be so obedient, does not require us to be so submissive. Be it that we are the hopeless person, still the Buddhist and Bodhisattvas, their love and affection is even more for us. This is known as unconditional love. Like the mother's love. Next in Bodhicitta field, reinforce visualization of your two grandparents and all dear mothers and Jambis around you. Whatever relation that we might have with our parents, with other people, till thus far, now we are going to transcend all these ordinary relationships, anger, fights, and so forth. We are going to transcend these. Okay, imagine that you are the mother and all others like a very tender young child, so vulnerable, so weak, totally dependent upon you, and your love is so unconditional. And why we are so much into this visualization is because of the practice of the practice of the Bodhicitta, which is the final remedy to overcome the self-centered attitude. With that in mind, we will use the 4 immeasurables, the practice of the 4 immeasurables. But at home, we have to do the 2 methods, the sevenfold cause-effect method and the method of equalizing and exchanging self for others. So here, because in a group, otherwise it will take a long time. Or your 4 immeasurables, try as much to invoke the respective experiences to the best you can by following the instructions. Immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The causes of happiness primarily consisting of bodhicitta, which cherishes others more than to oneself, and the wisdom of emptiness to see everything as like illusion. May all my dear mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, they're intensely happy and proud of you, like a mother after all these many years of hardships, raising our children. For the first time, the eldest daughter, eldest son, at the age like 13, 14, telling the mother, "Mother, please take rest. You have done everything for us. I'm already grown up. I'll take care of my siblings. You please take rest. You have been so loving, caring, affectionate towards us. You have just sacrificed yourself. You have done everything for us. Now I'm grown up. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of all my siblings. Don't worry. Mother, please take rest." Mother could not believe her ears. With this disbelief, and it's such a nectar-like sound that she has, the voice that she is hearing from you, tears rolling down her cheeks. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. For the first time hearing such a wonderful thing from you, they are witnessing such a miracle. Seeing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they're intensely happy and proud of you, and this pride and happiness invoke their compassionate, omniscient minds to send for nectars and radiant soothing lights towards you, all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies beings in yours instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness in the minds of dear sentient beings in yourself. And you witness such a miracle is happening to us all, dear sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. Causes of suffering primarily consisting of self-grasping ignorance and of offshoots in the form of afflictive obscurations, afflictions and contaminated karmas. And the self-centered attitude. May all my dear mother sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they are intensely happy and proud of you, and this pride and happiness invoke their compassionate, omniscient minds to send for nectars and soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours washes away all the miseries and the cause of miseries from the minds of dear sentient beings yourself. And you're witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all, dear sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Next, immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. May all my dear mother sentient beings never be separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they endowed with. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, they intensely happy and proud of you, and this pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to send forth nectars very soothing lights towards you and all the other sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and nectars with the bodies beings yours stabilizes all the happiness and the causes of happiness that the beings are endowed with. You are witnessing that such a miracle is happening to us all the human sentient beings. You are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Next, immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. May all my dear mother sentient beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, they are intensely happy and proud of you, and this pride and happiness invokes their compassionate omniscient minds to send forth nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all human sentient beings. The mere touch of the lights and the nectars with the bodies beings yours frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, and making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other dear mother sentient beings equally, leaving none aside. You witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all dear mother sentient beings. You are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Underscoring all the 4 immeasurables is unconditional love towards all dear sentient beings. Unconditional. Abide in this experience of unconditional love. Even the Buddha mentioned that even to be able to experience a single moment of this unconditional love towards all dear sentient beings, this is the greatest gift that you can offer to the Buddhas, more so than the whole world, whole universe filled with jewels, jewelries, diamonds, golds, silver, and so forth. And today we did it. Imagine that you are looking at the eyes of each of the dear sentient beings, reassuring them that I'm there to take care of you. Don't worry, have no fear. I'm there to take care of you. And each of the dear sentient beings, they feel so happy, so secure, so safe, to the extent that they feel themselves as so special in your eyes. With folded hands, let us make the commitment of the Bodhicitta, the most appealing mind that can possibly exist in this universe, this Bodhicitta. Let us make the commitment 3 times to get it to the best we can. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It can be superficial. It doesn't matter. Only through this superficiality we attempt. As long as there's an attempt, okay, You just recall the good moments of your compassion, of your having displayed compassion to someone, not necessarily all, to someone, compassion. Just invoke that experience. This is the seed of Bodhicitta. This is the seed of Bodhicitta. This is how we are slowly going to expand to resolve, and it eventually become a full-fledged Bodhicitta. So one of the factors which can help us expand it is by making commitments. Although it can be very superficial, it doesn't matter. So this commitment, initially it is superficial, eventually becomes genuine, it eventually becomes spontaneous. For example, all forms of exercises, for example, training in the music, initially is so raw, and you think that you are playing a music, and eventually it becomes so beautiful music, like playing football, like say studying mathematics. Initially it's so raw, you don't even know the basics, and eventually you become people can become a brilliant mathematician. Okay, this is the reality. This is how our mind works. So with this mind is a great opportunity for us even to say that may I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Even this much if you say, the Buddhas will be so happy. At least you are attempting. Attempt is the most precious thing. It's not matter which level you have reached. Attempt is the one. If you have the attempt, you will keep on improving. Without the attempt, you will never improve. Even if you have already reached the 80% of the bodhicitta, but if you don't attempt anymore, you will never grow any further. Attempt is the most precious thing. And this is what we're doing when we make the commitment verbally. Okay, let us say this 3 times together. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Abide in this most beautiful mind of the Buddha, the Bodhicitta. Most beautiful mind, most appealing. You have just a glimpse of this experience. Just a tinge of this experience. It simply imbues your whole every cell of your body. Make your body so relaxed, so tranquil, so serene, so appealing, so joyous. Beautiful, amazing. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean, white moon disk, horizontally sitting on the heart. Wow, it's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, the Bodhicitta, wonderful Bodhicitta, amazing. But how do you know that you can become a Buddha? How do you know this? Don't you think that is like a handful of sand you are squeezing, expecting oil come out of that? No, it is not like that. It is like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing of which the oil will come out of it. Okay, I have this Buddha nature within me. I have the seed of perfection within me. But if it is there, it must have been there since time immemorial till now. Yes, that's true. Why not it has become fully blossomed on the Buddhahood till now? Why not? And how can you say that it will become fully blossomed state of Buddhahood in the future? How can you know this? Yes, it's all because thus far why it has not blossomed into the Buddhahood is because I've been deceived by the 2 demons: self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. I'm thinking that these 2 are my best of friends who will only bring happiness to me. Now I'm disillusioned for the first time. I'm disillusioned. They are no more my friends. I now discover that they are the worst of the demons. I'm not going to surrender these 2 demons. I'll say no to these 2 demons. I will exterminate till the end. I'll exterminate these 2 demons. I'll fight with these 2 demons till the end and exterminate them eventually. How can I exterminate these 2 demons? Yes. With this bodhicitta, this self-centered attitude can be exterminated, and this self-grasping ignorance and the subtle stains of this self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude can be exterminated by the wisdom of emptiness with the force of the Bodhicitta added to the renunciation. Okay. So how are we going to have this wisdom of emptiness? Quickly retreat the experience of the emptiness of the self as we did as the meditation on the third seal of the four seals of Buddha's teaching. Quickly retrieve your meditation emptiness of the self. Okay, you go to the six elements. Element earth, all the solid part that we have, like the skin, the bone, the flesh, the heart, the lungs, and so forth, all the solid part. None of these is the self. Element earth is not the self, remove that. Element water, the blood which is pumped in and out by the heart, is also not the self, remove that. Element fire, the body heat, remove that. Element of air is not me, remove that. Element space, of course, is not me, remove that. Element consciousness is also not me, remove that. Okay. Now, imagine that all these six elements are all together now. Together, so individual, so individually there, as individually there, so independent from each other. Okay. And none of these six elements is me. And where is this cell? It disappears. It's empty. What are you seeing now? I'm seeing the six elements. Where is the cell? The cell disappears. Abide in this experience of the emptiness of self for a while. Slowly transform this most fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness, fearless mind that can possibly exist in this universe, this wisdom of emptiness. Slowly transform this into a beautiful, into a spotlessly clean white Vajra, thumb-sized white Vajra, vertically sitting on the moon disk of your heart. Amazing. Now you have this. The moon disk, which symbolizes the conventional Bodhicitta, which wishes to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Amazing. This is the final remedy to overcome this self-centered attitude. And you have the Vajra, which is symbolic of the ultimate Bodhicitta, also the wisdom of emptiness. This is the final remedy to overcome this self-grasping ignorance. Amazing. With these two things intact, you are bound to achieve full enlightenment. You are bound to cleanse all the mental defilements and to see the Buddha nature, to be awakened fully in the form of full Buddhahood. Amazing. But don't forget that all the dear sentient beings around you, they're just looking up to you. They're just looking at you, and they're expecting your help. Yes, of course. With the tremendous, intense love and affection towards all sentient beings, the intensity of love and affection towards the beings invokes your the set of Vajra and Moon, visualize your heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share one set with your mother at the heart, one set with your father at his heart, one set with each one of your family members, including your children, one with each one of the staff here in this place, where we are having the opportunity, great opportunity to the practice, is a kind of the staff here in this resort. Just visualize, just give one set of the Vajra and Moon to each of the staff here, and each of the people in this Jambi, beautiful Jambi place, which was once blessed and which was once the seat of this great Bodhisattva Lama Selingpa. Had it been the case that he's still alive, just imagine how all these people here will be blessed by him and the monk practitioners. So now, why don't we give them their share of the blessings of Lama Selingpa? Okay, now give one to each of the Indonesians here in Indonesia, one which share the set of Vajra and Moon with each of the Singaporeans, with everyone in this world, everyone in the entire universe. Amazing. This is such a wonderful gesture of yours today that really guarantees that you are there to give love and affection towards your dear Mother sentient beings. And don't forget that all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're watching us like the mothers, or like the mother watching their tender child, trying to do something so good to her siblings. Amazing. The mother is so happy. Likewise, all Buddhas, they're so happy watching us. What are we doing now? So why not we request the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to please be a witness to our undertaking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. So as a gesture requesting them, let us, along with all dear Mother sentient beings, let us slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations, all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Don't forget to include all Buddhas, all sentient beings with you making prostrations. Okay, sit on your right knees. Those who have no problem with your knees, backache and so forth. Okay, those who have problems, sit whichever position is more comfortable to you. And should you start to feel pain, make sure that you sit comfortably, because what is important is the thought process, taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. That is important. Let us turn to page 34. Okay, reinforce the visualizing all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas with tremendous joy and excitement. They are just watching us as requested. Say the tender young daughter, age 5, age 6, tender young son, age 5, age 6. If ask the mother, you must come. Dad, you must come to my school performance. I'm going to be performing there. The mother will be so proud to make sure that your request is fulfilled, and she just with great excitement she'll be there, and she'll be waving her hand to you when she sees you there on the stage. So this is exactly what all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are watching us with tremendous love, affection, joy, excitement, and approving what are you doing, and endorsing what are you doing, and just there to tell that, wow, it's amazing. So likewise, visualize all your dear Mother sentient beings who are heavily dependent on you, and you are there to make sure that everyone is being taken care of, and you are inspiring all of them to join you in this undertaking of the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. And everyone is, just as you inspired them, they are so happily joining you. Like all the children, they're coming with the mother to imitate what the mother is doing with great joy. This is exactly what is happening. So with that in mind, the first stanza, as we know, the first stanza from 34 is to prepare ourselves and wholeheartedly feel what we are reading. Okay, everyone is joining you, and all persons of that listen to us so with great joy. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, the next 2 stanzas is the main ceremony, the actual ceremony. So we invoke all the gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, so as we already did. And then the 2 stanzas, again I'm going to reiterate the meaning of the 2 stanzas. The 2 stanzas, they tell us, or they delineate as to how the Buddha Shakyamuni, for example, how the Buddha Shakyamuni is so successful. So what he is now revered, be able to shine his light to eradicate the darkness of all the sentient ignorance of all the sentient beings. How is he able to benefit all these millions and trillions of beings on this earth and elsewhere in the universe? So how he is able to do so is for two reasons. Initially, seeing the miseries of the beings, he so courageously generated the motivation of Bodhicitta. And then the second step is to materialize the aspiration of this Bodhicitta, this motivation. Then he engaged in the Bodhisattva deeds, such as 6 perfections, 10 perfections, and so forth. So, if this is how the Buddha Shakyamuni became so successful, all the other Buddhas became so successful for these two reasons, then I will also follow their footsteps. Just as the children, they will try to follow the footsteps of their parents who are so successful. Likewise, I'll follow the footsteps of the very compassionate Buddhas. So how? By initially engaging in the motivation of Bodhicitta, by cultivating this very strong motivation of Bodhicitta, wishing to become Buddha for benefit of all sentient beings, and then to materialize this aspiration, I will also engage in the Bodhisattva deeds, Bodhisattva practices, such as 6 perfections and 10 perfections. Okay, with that in mind, we read, and during the third recitation, when we say the last 2 lines, which says, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices, imagine that you've received the Bodhisattva vow. This we should feel that now I've received the Bodhisattva vow. I'm so fortunate, and we rejoice in receiving this vow. Okay, 3 times. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successively follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwelt in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Feel the joy over having received the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. We are very fortunate, and say you are in your 20s, you are in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, it doesn't matter, to think very carefully. Since time immemorial till now, have you really engaged in such the practice, intense practice, that do voluntarily? Have you really engaged? Not really. We've been only bringing, say, the sadness to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. We've been only engaged in harming others, so forth. But today, here in this very holy land of our very affectionate teacher, Lama Selingpa, we have generated this mind of Bodhicitta, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, no doubt they are here with us. They are so happy, so proud of you, of this gesture of taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. And this indeed is the greatest offering that we can make to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. In fact, the Buddha very clearly indicated that even to cultivate one single moment of compassion far excels the gift, the whole universe filled with jewelries, jewels, and gems, and so forth, to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. If this were the case, what we are doing is much more than cultivating a moment of the compassion. It is the Bodhicitta, which is far more advanced level, the advanced level as compared to the compassion. This is what we have done. So this is the greatest gift that we can potentially offer to all the dear sentient beings, and today we did it. It's amazing, amazing. The Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they see that there's such a wonder happening today. Yes. Imagine the mother, for the first time, the eldest daughter and the son come from the first day job first day in the job, and then the mother, see how proud the mother would feel, how happy the mother would feel. And not only that, you come from the day one from the job, but you're so confident, so affectionate to help all your siblings. See how happy your mother will be. This is exactly what happens to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas today. And this intensity of the love, intensity of the pride, intensity of the happiness, the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they feel, invoke their compassionate mind of the wisdom of the compassionate mind of the omniscience in the form of the Vajra and the Moon to multiply infinite number of times. Then in mirages like rain showering, in mirages, all these replicas of the Vajra Moon descend to merge with the one that you visualize through your heart, thereby becoming non-dual with the one that you visualize through your heart. Non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, all the replicas of Vajra Moon, the full-fledged version of the Vajra Moon from all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with the one that you visualize at the heart of your mother, heart of your father, heart of each one of your family members, including your children. Each one here in the resort, the staff, the fish, then the insects, all the other animals, each one in Jambi, each one in Indonesia, each one in Singapore, each one in your own countries, each one in the entire universe, everyone, the hell beings, the hungry ghost beings, the spirits, the animals, the deva devis, the human beings, everyone. Okay, this is the greatest gesture that you can think of doing, and today you did it. It's amazingly fortunate, and this is the greatest meaning of your life. This is how we extract the greatest meaning of our life. Otherwise, it's just so trivial, just spending so much of time just to feed this body. Now we have done something, we have extracted the greatest meaning of life. And this is all happening because of the kindness of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking them, let us all stand up, along with all Tiamat sentient beings, to make 3 prostrations. Okay, please take your seats. Now let's turn to page 35. Page 35 is to make sure that this practice, which is so precious, the greatest meaning of life, that we are not separate from this practice even in the future lifetimes. So we pray to Buddha Shakyamuni to always guide us throughout our future lifetimes, and that we be able to, Buddha Shakyamuni guiding us throughout our future lifetimes, then from our side that we will uphold these 2 precious bodhicittas, uphold meaning that I'll practice it and I'll disseminate this, I'll share this with others as much as possible, even at the cost of my life. Okay, let's say this 3 times. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the 2 precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by a compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Okay, next, let's turn to page 36. So this is what His Holiness advised to add, to give a rigor, to boost this, then the compassion. Because what we're reading now is taken from Bodhisattva Shantideva's Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, chapter 9. Taken out from that chapter 9. And so these, Bodhisattva Shantideva was talking about how the beings are suffering. Say, for example, if the mother and the child, if the child is in fast asleep and is dreaming, having a nightmare, and when the mother is awakened and the mother looks at the child, from the body language of the child, the mother would see that the child is going through a nightmare. So instantly the mother will try to wake the child up to free the child from the nightmare. Likewise, all the other beings, all sentient beings, and they are like in the dream, seeing the dream goes as real. So the miseries are so objectively real, and because of which they are going through the pains. They are like in the dreams. Now you have a little bit of glimpse of emptiness. You should be like a mother who is woken up, and seeing the beings suffering terribly, sickness, aging, death, fighting, quarrels, the word litigations, all these problems. We see that they are like the child going through nightmare in the sleep, in the dream. So as a mother, what you will do, you will try to wake her up. So waking up is what? To give the teaching on emptiness. To tell that what you're seeing is empty of reality. They're all coming from your mind. So this is, what I've explained here is you are first of all expressing the understanding of emptiness, and then see how the beings are suffering because of not seeing emptiness, and then finally Bodhisattva Shantideva made a prayer that how I wish that I'm able to teach this emptiness to others, how I'm able to wake them up from the sleep of ignorance by teaching this emptiness. Okay, this is the point. This is very powerful. So the compassion, when you speak of compassion, it is not just something vague idea. Compassion, it has so many layers. It's not just so simple. Oh, he's very compassionate, she is very compassionate. No, compassion, it has so many layers of subtlety and profundity. The more your understanding of emptiness, deeper your compassion towards the sentient beings. But we have to cultivate compassion separately. And then if complemented by the wisdom of emptiness, compassion becomes very profound. Okay, so now on the basis of what His Holiness advised us to add, so this will help us to make a compassion even more profound. Okay, page 36. We'll read this slowly. Therefore, sentient beings resemble dreams. Upon analysis, they are like a plane and trees. Whether they are released or not from sorrow, ultimately there is no difference. What is there to gain and what is there to lose with things that are empty of true existence in this way? Who is there to pay me respect and who is there to abuse me? From what are pleasure and pain derived? What is there to be happy or unhappy about? When I search for the ultimate nature, who is there to crave and what is there to crave for? Upon analysis, the world of living beings is found to have no true existence. Therefore, who can die here? What is there to come and what has been? Who are friends and who are relatives? Or you who are investigating reality, please recognize, as I've done, that all is just like space. Those who wish to be happy are greatly disturbed by causes for conflict and overjoyed by the causes for pleasure. Not finding happiness, they suffer, and in order to find it, they exert themselves. They argue with others, cut and stab one another. With many wrong deeds, they live in the state of great hardship and experience much pleasure there. Upon dying, they fall for a long time into the unbearable suffering of lower realms. Within conditioned existence, the chasms of suffering are many, and the liberating comprehension of ultimate truth is absent. Furthermore, the apprehension of true existence and the understanding of emptiness mutually contradict one another. Yet if while in conditioned existence I do not realize this ultimate truth, I shall continue to experience the limitless ocean of misery unparalleled and beyond analogy. Likewise, through not having realized emptiness, I have little strength for virtue, and my human life of leisure and endowment is indeed very short. Also, I strive hard to live long and avoid illness. I'm concerned with hunger, rest, and sleep. I'm injured by others and keep meaningless company with the childish. Therefore, this life swiftly passes with no meaning, and it is very hard to find the chance to investigate reality. In this state, where is there the means to reverse this beginner's habit of grasping a true existence? Furthermore, devils are exerting themselves to cast us into the vast, unfortunate realms. They show us many mistaken paths, and it is hard to resolve doubts about the perfect way. It will be hard to find the leisure of a human life again, and extremely difficult to find the presence of the Buddhas. It is hard to forsake this flood of disturbing conceptions. Alas, sentient beings will continue to suffer. Oh, indeed, it is worth feeling sorrow for those that drift in the river of pain, who, although they experience great misery, are unaware of the suffering they go through. For example, some ascetics wash themselves again and again, and others repeatedly enter fire, but although they thereby suffer greatly, they pride themselves in being content. Similarly, those who mistake their suffering for joy and live as though there were no aging or death are first of all killed by the Lord of Death, and then experience the unbearable misery of falling into lower realms. When shall I be able to extinguish the pains of those tormented by the fires of suffering with the rain of my accumulated happiness that has sprung from the clouds of my merits, and by having it a manner of not referring to existence, respectfully gather the accumulations of merit? When by referring to the other will I be able to reveal emptiness to those who are wretched and sad? Okay. The next is rejoicing. Rejoicing in this gesture of having taken the aspirational Bodhisattva vow and having generated the two Bodhicittas. So the rejoicing, the benefit, this is so important, rejoicing. It's very important. Oftentimes what happens is that, say, people, say very young, and you come in contact with, say, some spiritual teachers, they talk about Bodhicitta, and then you feel attracted. Oh, this is so good, you feel attracted, then you try to connect yourself to this teaching. And then you go to meet your friends. And the friends say, what are you doing? You are doing crazy. Right? Bodhicitta, what is Bodhicitta? You don't know how to even take care of yourself. Right? So what is this? It's so weird. It's cult. Come to job, come to this, come to that, come to socialize yourself with other people. Don't be alone yourself in retreat in this. And what is this, right? And then you feel so odd yourself, right? Because what you're doing is so precious. What you're doing is so precious, and majority of the people on the earth, they don't see the preciousness of what you're doing. So they will dissuade you. Because it's not out of bad mind, simply out of their ignorance. They think that you are doing something odd. In actuality, no, you are doing something so great. But now, you should be actually helping them. Now they are harming you rather than you helping them, right? Now, why this happening? Why you feel dissuaded? Why you feel a little uneasy? It's because this confidence is not in you. Why not this confidence? Because if, say, the mere thought of this, say, bodhicitta, vision of emptiness, there's joy coming in you, right? And somebody says that you're eating a chocolate. Say, you're eating a chocolate, and that person says, what are you eating? You are eating something nonsense, right? This will kill you. This is not delicious. This is not sweet. And you're eating it, you're actually experiencing the taste. Will you throw this? No. Because you're experiencing that it is so good. You're experiencing it's so good, you will not throw this. Likewise, when you rejoice in this gesture of taking aspirational Bodhisattva vow, in cultivating bodhicitta, in cultivating wisdom and emptiness, what happens? You keep rejoicing. Rejoice means a feeling of joy, a pleasant feeling. So pleasant feeling, the pleasant feeling is conjoined. Pleasant feeling is your cultivation of these two precious thoughts. They're glued to the pleasant feeling. They're glued to the pleasant feeling. Next life, when you're connected with this practice of the bodhicitta like this, pleasant feeling automatically comes to you. Very strong pleasant feeling comes to you. When the pleasant feeling comes to you, then even somebody says, this is nonsense. You know that it is not nonsense. This experience is much, 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 much more than eating chocolates or drinking alcohol and these things, right? This is something which supersedes all the mundane experiences. Through your own experience, this pleasant feeling comes to you. So now the thing is that in next lives, this life is fine, you've already met this and you're very confident. Now whoever tells you, you know that they're going through the ignorance. You've met with all these brilliant teachings of the Bodhisattva Shantideva, His Holiness Dalai, and so forth, right? Now the thing is that in your next life, again you say, if you're lucky, we will take birth as a young boy, young girl, right? Then meet with some ABC, TBC, right? And then you go to your friends, what are you doing? You go to ABC, you go to TBC, right? Okay, so then you may feel a little odd. No, you should not feel odd. So there, you should feel so joyous, so proud, become so confident, even to tell others that you must come. You first see what is happening and then you tell me, right? So this confidence comes to you when you feel joy. So how to create this joy in the next life is by whenever you do something virtuous, particularly generate bodhicitta, you try to rejoice in this act of having cultivated bodhicitta. So the following stanzas are to rejoice in what you're doing, so that in your next lives you automatically feel joyous. Just to hear about bodhicitta, just to hear about compassion, instant a very deep feeling of joy, deep feeling of nostalgia should be coming. So that happens. Okay. In order to further increase it from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized an awakened mind in this way should highly praise in the following manner. Okay, very sorry. A quick qualification here. Awakening mind, this is oftentimes how many of the translators translate this for bodhicitta. So awakening mind here refers to bodhicitta. 1. Number 2, in this whole the verses down, the pronoun it. The pronoun it, so that refers to bodhicitta. Okay, let's read this again. In order to further increase it from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized and awakened a mind in this way should highly praise in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha and now in one of Buddha's children. Thus whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. Is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death, is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world's disease, is a tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. It is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It is a great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. It is a quintessential butter from the churn of the milk of Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the bounties of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in great supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight. May gods and demigods and all be joyful. Okay, dedication prayer. I dedicate the marriage thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times and to the upholding of the doctrinal scripture inside. May in all lives through never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect view in the 2 stages. From my 2 collections, vast space that I've amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance.